Joined by journalist and political commentator Fred Weir, who is joining us live from Moscow. Now, Mr. Weir, today marks the second-year anniversary since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and what we've witnessed is very interesting. You know, a number of Western leaders have, of course, come to Ukraine to express their solidarity and support. But a lot of critics are saying that this Western support is increasingly beginning to resemble more like lip service of Western support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia. How do you view this?
Well, it's certainly by the numbers, the actual material support being provided to Ukraine is falling off drastically. And in the United States, the political deadlock has caused it to dry up, at least temporarily. I myself find this astounding that the United West, pouring all of its resources into Ukraine, I mean, well, not all, but like humongous amounts of money and materiel, have not managed to create, even to stop the Russians in this war. And in fact, the Russians are doubling down. The Russian economy has not only survived, but it's ramped up to a war footing. I think that you could say the old Soviet military-industrial complex is being revived, not on the basis of Soviet methods, you know, central planning and economic command, but what in the West they call military Keynesianism, private orders, profitable state orders to private industry, which is working. As it worked for decades in the United States, you know, it's an extraordinary thing, but Russia seems able to match the United West in terms of providing for its forces in the field, and this is really, I mean, I'm as surprised as anyone at this, even though it's only the 2-year mark in this war.
Mr. Weir, you know, one of the other aspects and what is interesting is that right from the beginning of this war, the West has tried to use sanctions in order to cripple the Russian economy. Do you think the sanctions have worked at all against Russia? And if not, why not?
Well, one thing I thought from the very beginning is that it's going to be impossible to sanction to its knees a country that's self-sufficient in agriculture and energy, as Russia is. But more than that, you know, Russia never fully reintegrated with the world economy after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And somehow that has worked to its benefit, not being directly connected in all the intimate ways that most, like European countries, North American countries are. Russia always had, you know, some physical isolation, and more than that, the experience of being isolated. You know, right. Soviet Union was for many, many decades. I'm not advocating this self-sufficiency. Autarky doesn't work in the long run, but in the short run, they can accomplish a lot. And this is, I think, what the West completely underestimated about Russia. From the get-go, when they started leveling all these sanctions, they simply didn't reckon with history, right, or the depth of the Russian economy.
I think that's very interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Weir, for joining us and getting us that perspective from Moscow.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.